I'm Jenny Klochko, and thank you for joining me today for this live to put the final stop on this meeting, not just Putin, but Putin particularly, and Xi in China. And let's look what kind of messages they were sending, they wanted to send, and things they wanted to hide. I'm sure if you follow the news feed, if you read in your daily messages from news agencies or websites or anything you're probably already overloaded with messages, interpretations, this and that. And I don't want to add, hello Dan, hello Johnny. I don't want to add to that because, we've seen what we've seen, we were told what we are told, but there are a few things. I was just checking the Russian media, the opposition Russian media, the Ukrainian, the obviously English-speaking things. There are a few things I'm missing. Or, Putin being himself, carry on playing different games. And obviously, if you haven't, there was kind of things about Putin's plans, about his future. You know how many speculation about his health, he's going to die, he's got cancer, he's got this, he's got that. There are numerous books, investigations, and one of the questions people curious about is he dying, or he's struggling with his health. But I remember my conversation in 2022. There was a few months into full-scale invasion, and I was discussing it with one of the reps of Ukraine's defense intelligence. And we were discussing different biographies or the facts from Putin's biography. And I was explaining usually, and you're probably aware of that, the leader's biography is crafted, it's all created because this is how the leadership created, and we know that. And this long speculation about his health, it's kind of very suspicious. Is he going to die or not? And when, if he does, because we're really tired of his doings. Anyway, I think all of this speculation, manipulation about his health, it's all Putin's game. And while we're thinking when he's going to be done, he told us, didn't he? He said about organ transplantation, and he considers himself as a child, 72-year-old child, and he's going to live another 70 years. And it made me think how interesting. You can achieve your goals, you can achieve your dreams, you can make all money in the world, you can get any beauties, queens, or anybody, to increase your profile, to prove how macho man you are. But there are two things you will never be able to change. The first is the place where you were born, and no matter how many names you've changed, no matter where you live and this and that, but you will never change the place where you were born, right? And the second thing, we're all mortal. And even Putin, probably the richest man in the world, will never change the fact. And while I don't believe that there was accident, that they were not aware of the mics and everything, no, for the people who worked for KGB, no, it's all charade. And he's sending the message that he's thriving, he's happy, he lives his best life, and he's not going to die. Well, I have bad news for Putin. It's all nonsense. Even sending two of your legitimate daughters to work on the eternity and how to live longer or healthier, this and that, Ekaterina and Maria, his daughters, and they recently, after full-scale invasion, they live in Russia, and they take part in more sort of public events recently for the past few years. And they work on basically live forever, their topic, from scientific point of view, of course. And I think there will be epic fail because you know, I think having power for so long, you getting basically drunk. You believe that you can achieve. You invaded one country, you went to Syria, destroyed cities and people's lives. I mean, the one country, Georgia, which happened 2008. You destroyed life in Ukraine, and it gives you, you know, inspiration to thrive, right? And what he's going to do, he is going to live 70 years. I don't think he has that time, no matter how he wants it. But anyway, and the other thing, you probably, as an English-speaking community and following the news, you may watch in Russian-speaking world or media, it's been many times pointed out. You know, there is conflict between Azerbaijan and Russia. And there was different, if you Google, you'll see the video, how what a pomp ceremony, how grand it's always when the president of Azerbaijan arrived. They were dancing and this and that. That was quite impressive. And Putin's arrival was quite modest. And obviously, Azerbaijan media, they made lots of reels, lots of videos to underline, to show was Chinese priority with Azerbaijan or with Russia. Anyway, and the other thing, when Putin arrived and he was walking down from the plane, we didn't see the first lady, did we? Because he's a single man, the official version. But Alina Kabayeva has arrived, you know, claimed to be the wife and the mother of his two sons. And she was there in China. And she wasn't just there to entertain Putin. She was actually on official mission, yeah? And I didn't know that Russia and China, they were working together on the film, which has the title The Red Silk. I think it's about the historical events. Is it 1927? So how sort of like there's a spy drama, and apparently both countries invested into it, and it's made it's like you can see there's lots of money pumped up, and it was made in the best locations in Russia and on the top film studios in China. And as Putin explained, they wanted to be more present. They, as Russians, cinema wanted to be more present in China. And leader Xi, he said, okay, let's do something together. And then it will be Chinese film as well. So you will have more open doors and you will have the permission to show. Because apparently in China, there's a limit for the foreign films. Well, as you can imagine. And they did this film. And in the Russian official media, it was claimed as the most expected premiere. Everyone is looking forward to watch it. And everyone was looking forward so much, they didn't make it to the cinema. So actually, investments in the film were more than the ticket office brought. So nobody really cared because this film was premiered in Russia in February, I think. So in China, they will just now will watch it, and we'll see how what Chinese people will think about it. But the funny thing is, Alina Kabayeva brought, because she is the president of the National Media Group, she was the head of the delegation on this film during all these visits and leaders, blah, blah, blah. And the funniest thing, pardon, it was her speech. Sort of, why did they do this project? Why there was urgency to do this film? And apparently, Russia, same as China, they are very passionate about keeping the historical memory, the truth about events. And that's why they created the film. And now they fight for the historical truth and memory to pass it to the future generations. That's the thing. Russia, the country which doesn't know its own history, rewrote it numerous times, and they just now they are fighting for the historical truth. I find it's quite funny, and you know, I think it's quite a big step for Putin, for a person who doesn't recognize his illegitimate daughter, his sons, claimed sons with Alina Kabayeva, and even his official daughters, the daughters with Ludmila, his first wife. And when he was asked in Italy, when Berlusconi was alive and there was Putin's visit in Italy, and he was asked about these daughters, and he said, the women you mentioned, he never dared to own children publicly, right? And or saying anything, and sort of being a father, being a husband, being a man. And I think these are the questions to the profilers and psychologists, because why he's so ashamed of them? Why he's always hiding in the dark? What's so wrong about it? And I don't know if you follow the story of this illegitimate daughter who was born with his mistress, Svetlana Krivanogih. Now she's one of the richest women in Russia. She used to be a cleaner. She was cleaning people sort of the steps in a block of flats. And then she, after being lucky, let's say, meeting Putin as her lover, and in his life, sort of like while he was in St. Petersburg, working for the local council, and then transferring to Moscow as the head of FSB. And she gradually became one of the richest women in Russia. And they have daughter. And her name is Elizaveta, or then later she was changed into Luisa Rozova. So the latest information about her, that she lives in Paris, and she works with modern art, and you know, sort of that kind of thing. And when investigation was published about her existence, and she is a spitting image of Putin. And apparently, before everything shut down, especially before the full-scale invasion, she had an interview. She was sort of asked different questions, and sort of like at the final stage of this conversation, she was asked, you know, there's one of the popular there's questions which is asked by the one of the most popular YouTubers in Russia, Dude, and he would usually ask his guests, like, if you just stand in front of Putin, what would you ask him? And the same question she was asked for this young adults magazine, or young people, basically. And her reply was, why? Why? And of course, we all can relate why he doesn't recognize her publicly when the whole world knows, when she looks like him. Apparently, those people who know her saying good things, she's not a nasty person, apart from being related to him. But why? Why it caused a child such pain? And probably the same related with Alina Kabayeva. How many years they together? How many years? Probably, because, you know, from time to time she appears with a wedding ring, so it must be the wedding. And she never been introduced as his wife. What are you ashamed of? She's she's even, you know, from all this horrors you create, and for all this, you being a murderer, and she still stands by you. I mean, I'm not sure she has lots of choice, but I think she deserves to be just respected as a woman, as a mother of your children. Anyway, these are the things he was hiding. And I think, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think all this performance in China, and China as a winner in World War II, which is a big surprise, another historical truth, right? I think there was all performance for actually Donald Trump. I mean, no matter how we all would like to please ourselves, that's all for us, of course not. Donald Trump, and I think he's got the message about this, you know, divided power, polarizing world, and blah, blah, blah. And I think one of the things Putin wanted to achieve, and the narrative of official Russian media, like, oh, we have visa-free entrance to China. Well, actually, China is going through transformation of their visa policy, and Russia is not the only one. There are many countries actually getting this access recently. And then the other thing, they gave, I mean, Russian gave enormous, just absolutely unbelievable discount on the energy. And both Russian companies doubled their losses this year and probably will be declined more. And Russians desperate to do anything. And the narrative in the Russian opposition media about the Putin gave up Siberia to Chinese. Nevertheless, the fact that there are, for many years, there are a lot of expansion of Chinese people in the Siberia growing. And I think we discussed it in one of our lives. There was BBC Russian investigation about it. The correspondent of Russian BBC service went there and just there's a lot of advertisement in Chinese, there's a lot of the presence of Chinese people, there's a lot of, and sometimes you're getting confused. Are you still in Russia? Are you already in China? And this is the mood in Russian opposition media. No matter how Putin wanted to show the whole world, he's not isolated, he is greeted, he is welcome. Well, no. You pay the price, you're giving up your own country, and while you're trying to grab more of Ukrainian territory, you basically already lost Siberia. And that's his choice, right? And Russia is a big country, so bless them to have to give up more. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I can see many of you joined. I can see many of familiar names, and I'm so happy to see you. Thank you. Hello, Johnny, and hello, everyone. Hi, only me. Hello, Elimar. Hello, hello. Elimar is saying, what makes a murderer and fascist to do a murderer and fascist? His inability to show and receive love. Yes, probably. I think it's an ability. And you know, there's a lot of, regarding to Putin, there's a lot of speculation about his miserable and absolutely unloved childhood. And apparently there are two mothers. You know, we all know this fact that we're not entirely sure which family he was born. Was it St. Petersburg, or there was a little Georgian village where he was very much unloved and unwanted and eventually was given up. Yes, he doesn't strike me as a happy child. He doesn't strike me as a person who's able to love, to have joy, and to receive love. And especially, you know, working for KGB, you by profession have to be suspicious, right? You've got to be aware of things, you have to be careful. But I think when it sort of layers on the top of such personalities, Putin, you basically sort of one of the moments when creating this monstrous personality. By the way, talking about secret services, today is a very, very special day in Ukraine. As you know, Mr. Budanov, as the head of defense intelligence, and actually today is the day of defense intelligence in Ukraine. So all the spies or all the spooks, is a correct, or I got it wrong, sort of like one of the nicknames of the spies celebrating today, and celebrating the brothers in arms who unfortunately died, and those who are still on the missions, on a secret mission, and sacrificing their life, but never betrayed their vow to Ukraine and to Ukrainian people. So all the intelligence officers and all those who help Ukraine Defense Intelligence, congratulations. Have the best day of your life today, and thank you for all you're doing. It's interesting, Elimar, you said about this show and receive love. Yes, it's quite thin, isn't it? Especially when it comes to leader, and especially when it comes that on your decision depends millions of lives. People you decide and leave for people to leave or for people to die. For example, Putin, right? He's killing his own people, ascending to war in Ukraine, and at the same time destroying the lives in Ukraine, those children, civilians, while sleeping in their beds, getting hit by missiles and Putin's drones. Oh, Kay Bell, hello, good evening to Australia, sending you lots of love. Aha, Nani from India, is it India? Only me. Hello, hello. Hashir, hello. Andrew, hello. Oh, aha. Mhm. Okay. Героям слава, Johnny. Героям слава і слава Україні. Of course, there's another thing which I wanted to hear your ideas and have you got it. You know, again, in front of cameras and for the media, there was a big manifestation and show how united we are, how good we're friends, we understand each other, and we such good partners. And I mean Putin and Xi. But the truth is, we all know the history and we remember how long can live the cooperation or the unity of the dictators, right? So we remember Hitler and Mussolini. It didn't last long, did it? And because nobody trusts anybody, and because it doesn't work, they dictators. Partnership or unity or things like that they can build between the people who feel equal, but both of them they think they are very special, a bit more special than anybody else, a bit higher than anybody else. So I don't um I don't think they actually will last forever. And the other thing which really makes me sad, you know, it's Chinese leader efforts to show that the China is a mediator, is in the middle of conflict, is in the middle of what's happening in Ukraine. But the truth is they're not. I wish they were, but they're not. Because they supply lots of ammunition, they supply lots of parts for Russian weapon, for drones, for everything, and it's been from day one. So they know mediators. They actually have own hands up to their shoulders in blood. So let's not fool ourselves. Who is helping this war and killing more innocent people? Elima saying, who's black? Oh, okay. It's internal chat. You know, it's just yesterday. I don't know. I haven't seen it going through English-speaking media, but it's quite a powerful moment for the Ukrainians. So there were special forces servicemen in Russia conducting some operations on Russian territory. They were arrested, and now it's going the sort of court hearing, and they've been charged for, I don't know, 20 something, 25, 26 years. And one of the servicemen, they had a word in this hearing, and he was reading a poem. He was reading a poem, Ukrainian poem, and it was quite brave, because in those words he was basically saying, let me read it in Ukrainian, and then I sort of like try to translate close to the text. Я є народ, якого правди сила, ніким звойована ще не була. І and basically it's he's saying that I'm part of the people whose independence, whose strength was never been conquered. There's a lot of was going on through the history, but never actually anybody ever conquered it. And he was saying it in Russian court. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine for sort of like, you know, while Russian people said, oh, we're so scared. Oh, we can't protest Putin. We can't protest the regime because we're so scared. And, you know, and Ukrainian servicemen, knowing their fate, knowing there's no good coming, and they probably, if they're lucky, they will be exchanged. But the chances are very low. And you know, they actually are brave enough. And this is the difference between Ukrainians and Russian people for you. And these words, this poem, that was my first, when I came in Ukraine, in my first trip after the full-scale invasion, and we were driving through Poland, going through Lviv, and then sort of all the way to Kiev. And we were going through towns and villages, and there were lots of barricades and checkpoints and flags. And there were a Ukrainian flag, yellow and blue, and there was red and black. I won't go into the history of this flag in Ukraine, but it's very important for the fight for independence. And those exactly the lines of the poems were in my head, that I realized no matter how or who invading, no matter who wants to take over Ukraine, and it's actually will never be conquered, whatever the price. And yes, and he wrote those lines, and I thought, oh my God, we feel the same. And well done, you brave man, well done, you. Johnny is saying 2 above magnitude 6 earthquakes in Afghanistan probably rid us of some, but remaining ones are gonna get even more extreme. Well, we'll see. Okay. So guys, if you have any questions or any thoughts, I thought for such an early time on Sunday, it would be too much to hold you long. So I just wanted to share these things about you. Oh, the last thing, I nearly forgot. I was recently at the very interesting presentation of the famous scholar in the UK, and he was saying sort of he was learning and researching how much people know, what the main things about Ukraine they remember, and what they would like to know, and all of those things. And apparently I was quite shocked, because not much, and depends on the group, on the what political party you support, and there was a lot of things. Anyway, my question to you, maybe not answer me now, but later, maybe in the comments video, what kind of information about Ukraine you would be interested, not necessarily related to the news feed or events, maybe about some people, for example, the richest people in Ukraine, or the life of some political leaders, or maybe some political I don't know, agenda or conflicts or rivalry, anything. Basically, maybe some historical events. I'll be happy to make a video or to have live about it, to tell you more, and please let me know. And yeah, because it seems like the information still not as deep soaking as I, as a journalist, hoped. Okay, so Nani is asking, what long-term help does Ukraine expect from the international community after the war? Well, it's quite a broad question, Nani. Thank you for it. I think Ukraine, at the moment, Ukraine needs lots of weapon. to fight for identity, to protect identity, to protect independence. And after the war, when the war, because war is still going on, I've seen somebody is asking if the war is still going. Yes, and last night was really bad. There's many residential buildings hit, people suffered. There's also was hit the building of the cabinet of ministers in Kiev. So there's a lot of going on every day, every night. There is no peace for children to sleep at night. And after the war, Nani, I think there will be, Ukraine will need lots of investments and support to develop and to rebuild Ukraine. So that's right on the surface. Elimar was asking if Keir Starmer will hold his course, being a good friend to Ukraine. Seems so. Seems so. The truth is, any political leader since full-scale invasion, they've been very supportive of Ukraine. I mean, the political leader from the UK, but Ukraine needs much more in terms of ammunition, supply, and all of that. So, but this is the reality of war. That's the thing. So, thank you everyone for joining me today. Please leave me your thoughts. Jared saying, would be interesting to hear stories about the Ukraine diaspora and how the war has changed it. It's changing people appreciation of the Ukrainian identity. That's a good question, Jared. Thank you. I will look into it, especially now we can look in different countries and look in different waves of immigration and diaspora. Thank you. I will look for that. And also, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for joining. Thank you to becoming a member of my podcast channel. And I think pretty soon I will start maybe day lives during the day, members only. And if you already become a member, please let me know what kind of topics or stories or conversation you would like to have, and we will do. So now we sort of, after the summer break, we'll get back to reality. And yes, let's get active, and thank you very much for supporting me, for supporting channel, and me and my little team will do our best to deliver you the best content we can. Thank you very much. Sending you love to everyone whenever you are. Are you in Germany, or you in Australia, or you Canada, US, UK, or London? Send you all, and enjoy your Sunday. Spend this time. Corruption in Ukraine. Okay, let's take a candid discussion about this, how attacking it. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Only. Thank you, we will do that. Yeah, because it's one of the narratives of Russian propaganda as well. Yeah, and it's something Ukrainian people fighting themselves as well. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sending you lots of love. Take care. Have a lovely Sunday. Bye.